Processing. All right, folks, we are live. Today, I am joined by the one and only amazing roommate that I had from my Vipassana retreat, Joe. And for the first time since 10 days of total silence, we're finally talking after the retreat. So, welcome, Joe.
Thank you so much, Ali. It was a pleasure being your roommate for 10 days, not talking to you. But yeah, we talked in the end. That was
Was it a
amazing.
pleasure because we were silent and we couldn't speak, or was it a pleasure, like truly a pleasure? You could be honest here.
I mean, it was a pleasure because I wanted to talk to you all the while, but because of the restrictions, we couldn't talk. And finally, we got a chance to speak, and it was amazing, right? And we are here right now. That means we had a good conversation, right? So
We did. We did.
yeah,
I just realized that I should put in my headset because I don't want there to be reverb between the audio from the computer and the mic. So just give me a second while I do that.
sure,
All right,
sure.
cool. It's the pros and cons of doing things live, but I like it live because I don't have to worry about editing. And I think
Yeah.
today more than ever, people like to see things raw. They want to see things real. They don't want
Oh, man.
fake stuff. In the world of AI, there's so much out there that's like super edited and very commercial. And I feel like, I don't know, at least for me and my audience, they want things to be as pure and authentic as possible. You know what I mean?
Mm. I know, right? So the Joe Rogan experience, the show with Trump, that really helped him to win, right? So that kind of stuff, people need.
Exactly. Can you hear me fine?
That's perfect now, man.
All
Go ahead.
right, we're good. I feel super professional. How about you?
I don't know, first time doing it, so
Really, your first podcast ever?
absolutely.
Awesome, man. I applaud you for your courage and for taking me on because just for the folks that are watching, for their benefit, we created a WhatsApp group after Vipassana because the feeling was so incredible that we wanted to connect with each other. So I created this WhatsApp group and I put it out there that, hey, if anyone wants to be on a podcast and memorialize the experience in an interview fashion on a podcast, then you're welcome to. And Joe was the first person to DM me and hit me up and be like, hey, buddy, I'm down. Let's do this. So welcome, Joe.
Thank you so much. One thing is like we had a good conversation, right? It's not like someone I never talked in the retreat came to the group and said this, and I know you, right? We had a conversation, so it is much more easier for me to express, you know.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Joe. Like, just give us a brief introduction if you can. Like, who are you? Where do you live? What do you do? And let's start with that. And what brought you to Vipassana?
All right. So, like many others, I came here as a student. I was on a study permit and I finished my studies in 2023. And then I went on to get a job in supply chain field. And yeah, it was a new field for me actually. And it was a little bit tough in the beginning and a lot of stresses, comes with managing the businesses and everything. So yeah, I was living in Barrie, Ontario, in
Oh,
the
wow.
beginning. Then
Yeah.
after 6 months, I changed my job and moved into Toronto. Toronto, like in Vaughan, Ontario,
Hmm.
close to Toronto. So yeah, I've been here for almost 1 year, I guess.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's where
And
I am right now.
you're in Vaughan. That's awesome. And what brought you to Vipassana? Like, what made you decide that, hey, I want to do this 10-day meditation prison? What led you to this?
Um, a mix of professional and personal issues, right? Because a lot of things were happening in my professional life, also in my personal life. So it was like kind of a lot of noise in my mind. So I was like, I can't even focus anything. I don't know what to do. And I know for a fact, like the answers are within, right? So I'm not able to listen to myself. there are a lot of answers within myself, what to do, what I want to do, how to deal with it. But I'm really damn sure nobody could help me. Only myself, but only myself. So yeah, I was in the path of meditation, but not that, you know, widely. I'm just doing meditation for when I feel like, maybe 5 or 10 minutes
Yeah.
in the room, being silent and everything, but
When you
not
say you don't know what to do, did you mean that like you didn't know what to do in terms of your job or relationship, or in what sense?
everything. Man,
Really?
everything. I was a miserable person. I was a miserable person, to be honest. So
Wow.
I wanted some help. So I thought of going to therapy, but I didn't had a, you know, I didn't felt like going to therapy, talking to someone to solve your problems. But as I said, all the answers are within. So just need to talk to yourself, take some time off, you know, get away from all the noises outside, and you know, cut off the internet. That's a main part. That's the thing.
Yes.
So,
And who did you hear about Vipassana from? What made you choose Vipassana versus some other retreat?
so I was searching internet for a meditation retreat. So mainly, I got the idea from a site called Reddit, which is really famous. They call it heart of the internet. Yeah, I guess it is. So I went there, and a couple of people suggested going for Vipassana retreat, and yeah, and also I came across some other meditation retreats which are paid like around 100, sorry, $1,000 or something for 7 days or
Right.
something like that. So I was thinking, Vipassana, like what mm, made it different from other retreats, but this was completely free. It was running on a donation based. Then I thought about this. So this thing is running for years, right? So the center we met was for years. I guess it was came around 2010 or something.
Yeah, apparently it was the first Vipassana center in all of North America.
Hmm.
And since then, they have thousands of students that come every year. I think last year alone, they had over 3,000 students come through. So, yeah, it's pretty prominent in North America and definitely in Canada.
So I thought about this. So
Yeah,
it's been there for almost this much years, right? So from the beginning, where like it was all free, it was donation based, runs on donation based, and they were really strict on this basis. One, the students who finish 10-day retreat can only donate, right?
right,
So the thing hit my mind was like, okay, people come there, people are going there for years and getting benefited and donating money so that the next batch can come. So this thing is going on, right? If it's no good, nobody would come, right? Nobody would finish 10 days,
right,
right? So it
right,
benefited a lot of people, right? So I felt like, okay, this is not a business or something. This is just something really pure, right? They're teaching something pure. That's why it's still there. It survived. It is
right.
time tested. So I was like a little bit more confident thinking about that way. And then
Hmm.
I thought of giving it a try. Why not?
Just like that. So, was there anything that you were nervous about or hesitant about? Anything beforehand that you were thinking, oh, maybe having second guesses?
Um, One thing was like, oh, can I do it? I mean, will I be able to survive for 10 days? Right? But then again, the people who survived gave me confidence. And one more thing, like I had a friend who gone there a couple of times, so I never knew he went there, but like I like on the last stage of going in, I thought of calling him to confirm that he went to the same place.
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean, he said yes, and he said it's an amazing place to go, and just gave me extra confidence. Like I was all in.
Nice, nice. So for those folks that don't know what Vipassana is, it's basically a silent retreat, and all students have to start out by doing the 10-day silent retreat. And essentially, you're not speaking to anyone, you're not gesturing to anyone, you cannot, make eye contact, and you're supposed to be there as if you're there by yourself. And meals are provided. There's two major meals a day, breakfast and lunch, and then you have like a smaller maybe tea break for old students. Sometimes they skip that, and the idea is that you're looking to sharpen the mind, and through observations of the senses in the body, you're able to experience the reality of yourself for yourself. So that, I would say, is Vipassana in a nutshell. What I'd like to do is jump into the 10-day retreat experience, if it's okay with you, Joe. I
Sure.
want to know, what was your first impression like on day one? You arrived there. Uh, Walk us through what your experience was like, and what was your first impression?
First impression was positive because someone welcomed us in the front. Like I was going with one of the retreat member. I took a ride, and someone received us, showed us the parking area. And the first thing he said, "Oh, you came here for the retreat? Oh, this is the best thing you've ever done to your life."
Really? Oh my
Yeah, I
God.
was like, and he just, I mean, he looked at our eyes and said it to her, like when someone tells you something
Yes.
really, like, and they mean it, and they look at your eyes and you get to feel it, right? And I really felt that positive energy in that face, and I
Dude,
was
you're
like,
lucky. You know what he said to me?
what?
He said, "Welcome to the prison."
Oh my God.
Bro, I'm like, what is he talking about? Because I didn't do much research. I just booked it because my mentors told me to, and my friends have done it and they've had positive experiences, but I didn't read much into it. I'm just like, hey, I'm just doing it. Whatever it is, I'm doing it because I know it's going to be good for me. But man, was it tough. So yeah, please keep on going. Day one, they give you a warm welcome, and then what
Yeah.
happens?
So it was like, first day, everyone get together, and you got to talk to someone. And yeah, like initially it was a little bit of socializing and a lot of noise. I mean, I was not expecting that much noise, but yeah, now that I know, like, we are human beings, right? We need to socialize, and it was a noise in that small
Yeah.
space in the
Well, it
lunch
was
room.
like what, 160 people, mostly women, and then
Yeah,
men. And you're about to go into total silence for 10 days. So yeah,
yeah,
people getting to talk, getting to, have you done this before? Do you know what this is about? Do you know what to expect? I remember one guy warning one of my friends. He's like, you know, day two, 1/3 of these people will not be here. So we're just freaking out, like, what is going to happen? Like, is this some sort
yeah,
of military boot camp? Like, what's going to happen that's going to be so bad that we're going to want to quit? But sure enough, we find out, right?
yeah. I was also having conversation, but I don't know. Like we had people talking about, oh, why you came here, what is the reason, and some felt like, oh, it's too personal to share. But yeah, I mean, I had, stuff like that, and we got to share some surface level stuff,
Yeah.
and yeah, and got to, and I really understand that everyone is on the same board, right? Everyone is having a tough situation in their life. I understood that from the beginning, and yeah, that gave me some motivation to stay.
Right. And you realize you're not the only one that's miserable. You're not the only one with tons of questions. You're
Yeah,
also, there's
absolutely,
other searchers that were there. So
absolutely.
it made it feel more comforting, right? Like, okay, we know it's going to be tough. We don't know how, but it's going to be tough, but we're not in it alone. There's 159 other people that are doing it with us. So that probably gave you some sort of solace, right?
That's amazing. That's right. That's right. That's right.
And discussed like physical challenges. Did you have any like back or leg or sitting posture issues? I had noticed people were had all sorts of problems, right? People were having back pain. I remember day 2, I don't know if you heard, but in the meditation hall, there's a kid that actually just broke out and started crying, started bawling, as we were observing the sensations of the body. He just started
Oh
crying and
yeah,
he lost
I
it. You
remember.
remember that?
Yeah, I
Day
remember.
2, bro, not even like day 9 or 8 or day 2. So I'm like, oh shit, like what is he experiencing? I felt for the kid, and I'm just like, man, what are we getting ourselves into? Did you have any like sensations that were like challenges, like physical challenges? I know I did. I'll
Um,
tell you about it after.
yeah, I had a condition like a bulged disc, and it was that I got it in 2022, and I'm still like, um, I'm doing the exercises and I'm keeping up with it. Um, and I was thinking like, okay, this could be a problem while doing
Where,
it.
in your lower back, mid
Lower
back, or
back,
upper? Okay.
lower back, yeah.
Wow.
So I was thinking, okay, if this gonna be a challenge for me, but
And was that like an accident that happened, or just?
yeah, I just fell down on the ice, while
Oh
walking in
man,
the street. Yeah,
ouch. That sucks, bro.
really.
Yeah, like I mean, falling down on the ice and then having this bulge disc. I also have it, by the way, but I have it from a car accident. You know,
Oh,
yeah, I
yeah.
have it in my lower back and my neck as well. But
Oh my
that's
God.
another story, maybe for another time. But I can relate to you. So
Hmm.
the bulge disc, when did it start to bother you? Was it like day 1 or later on in
No,
the retreat?
I mean, I wanted to tell you, like, it didn't bother me at all. Like, I don't know
What?
if it's because I recovered well, or is it because I don't know, maybe my mind wasn't fully onto myself, on my like thinking about, not even thinking about that, right?
Hmm.
Maybe when you don't even think about anything, it won't come up, right? The
Hmm.
pain, right? So I don't know. It was not a problem. I was totally fine. I finished 10 days without a single pain on my lower back.
Bro,
I mean,
anywhere else, like your legs weren't hurting, you weren't like, oh my god, like you didn't have any pain at all?
I
6
would
to
say,
11 hours of meditation, bro. You know why you didn't have pain? I know why you didn't have pain. You were sleeping. You were sleeping during the times they were like, oh, go rest, go meditate in your room, and all I hear is Joe snoring. But
it's like, yeah, for me, it's like 3 hours strictly doing the meditation on the floor,
yeah,
on the
yeah,
meditation hall, and rest of the time I'll be sleeping on the bed and doing the meditation. You
yeah,
don't have nothing to do, right? Just sleep
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
lying down and doing the meditation. Sometimes you fall asleep, right? It's natural.
For sure, for sure.
Mhm.
Well,
So
I know when you fell asleep, and you probably know when I fell asleep.
absolutely, that's why we
Did
are
you?
here.
I heard you snoring. Did you hear me snoring too?
Of course.
Shit. Was I loud? Be honest.
It was okay, man. I mean, I
Well,
heard I heard worst. So
you heard worse? Oh, okay.
yeah. So
But we were lucky though, because we had a room that had 3 beds,
hmm,
and I was by the window, you were by the door, and the bed in between was empty, it's not occupied. So I think it gave us a little bit more space. I think if we had a third person in our room, it
hmm.
and depending on who it is, right? Like I heard somebody had a roommate that was sleep talking. Did you hear about that?
Oh yeah, I heard about it.
And it just was like, yeah, I think by like day 8 they grew used to it, but it's like in the beginning they were just freaking out. This guy won't stop talking in his sleep.
Yeah.
But and then another guy had like sleep apnea, and he's like sleeping, and all of a sudden he wakes up, panic attack, choking,
Mhm.
so I feel for the people. It's very like human experiences, because you're not used to being with a group of total strangers, right? Like these men you've never known before, and all of a sudden we're sharing like room and board. Like we're sharing meditation hall. People sneezing, people coughing. We're all in the same room when we're meditating. So it took some adjusting, to say the least. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, for me, it's because of like it's you, and I mean, I didn't feel like much of a problem with you, to be honest. So I know many other rooms people had problems, but we were fine, I guess. I was worried about you having problem with me. That's why I was asking some questions.
All right, just for you, for the listeners, when I first met Joe and I saw how tall he was, I thought he was a basketball player. I'm like, dude, this guy is like he's into some sports or something, because he's super tall, and he's just like And when he falls asleep, he just knocks the F out. He doesn't like within minutes, bro. Like there's like he lies down and all of a sudden he's knocked out. I'm like, what? Is he on like some pills or something? Like, how does he do that? Bro, you have this gift. You know that, right? You sleep quick.
I know. I researched a lot about sleep, and I know how important it is. So
Yeah.
I just got into routines, and like I go to bed and sleep. That's it. I don't know wherever I go, I do the same thing. So
Oh my God. I was tossing and turning a few times. I don't know for you, but the retreat for me at times was going super slow. Like I was bored as F. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. I loved it. I enjoyed it. And I got a massive amount out of it. I would not change a thing. I would do it again, given, the experience. Um, Yet it was challenging. That was one thing. But then the other part of it that made it challenging was the boredom, right? It was not just the sitting there for hours and meditating. That's not easy, but you get used to that, right? But the boredom, my God, cannot talk to anybody, cannot gesture. I don't know if you know this, but I actually got in trouble, or I didn't get in trouble, but my friend got in trouble. I think it was like day 6 or something, and
Mhm.
after one of the meditations, we were leaving the hall, and he stops me just as I exit the hall, and he says, "Ali, just wait for me here." And I'm just like, "Oh wow, he's breaking his noble silence. It must be important, right?" And so I'm waiting there, and he comes out and he goes, "Ali, I have 2 knots in my back, and I know that you're a yoga master. Can you help me?" And I'm
Oh,
like, "I don't know if I'm a master, but I certainly try and help you." And so we went into where our sleeping quarters are, just where the shoe area is.
mhm.
And I'm like, okay, let me do it here, right? So I'm relieving his knots, one at a time, and he was very, very relieved. But somebody saw us and they snitched on us.
Oh,
Someone snitched, and the next day, my friend got in trouble. So one of the meditation police guys came to him, and he's like, he knocks on his door, and first of all, he left the meditation a little early just to go do like some journaling, which is not allowed, as you know. Uh, so he comes to the door like with his book in his hand, and his journal, whatever he was working on. And the meditation police is like, "What is this? You're not allowed to have this. You got to submit this before you leave." And by the way, there's no massages allowed. And he's like, "What? That was not a massage, dude. He was just relieving me of some pain. I had knots in my back." And he's like, "Well, you got to speak to the teacher about that." So he had to go to the assistant teacher, Tom. I don't know if you got to interact with him. Did you get to ask him any questions or anything? Did
yeah,
you?
I did
All
a
right,
couple
we'll
of
get
times.
into that.
Yeah.
So my friend goes up to him, and he doesn't know that the teacher knows, right? So he's trying to be all like wise about it. He's like, "Listen, if somebody's in pain and they have a way to relieve that pain, should they do that?"
Wow.
And the teacher caught on, and he's like, "You mean a massage? Yeah, it's not allowed. You're there to observe your pain, not to relieve the pain." And then my friend like lost it. He's like, "What the?" And he just took off. But the story gets better because out of this, he goes through a whole experience where he uh, has a dream about his childhood, because for him, this experience was like, triggering him, because there were a lot of things that happened. Like, for one, he was put in a corner, and it reminded him of his days back in school when he went to French school. And when you would get in trouble, guess what they would do? They would say, "Hey, you go in the corner." So he had a corner seat, and he's sitting behind this guy that, like sitting very uncomfortably. He goes up to the guy and says, "Hey, by the way, you can go sit on the chair and it will relieve some of your pain for a little bit." And the guy just pushes him away, like, like, "Don't talk to me. Don't tell me what to do.
Oh.
I'm doing my own thing." So, he's like, my friend had a really tough first few days. In fact, by this point, on the 6th day, when he got reprimanded by the teacher, he was ready to leave. He was going to write a note to the teacher and like prepare like his passive aggressive like response to him, why he feels he's wrong. And then he's going to write me a note that, "Listen, I'll meet you in Ottawa, but I have to leave." And all this happens, and he goes to sleep, and he has a dream. Joe, he has a dream of when he was a kid, and those triggers are coming back again, and he wakes up and he's like, what, why did I have this dream? And he starts like, I know you're not supposed to do this, but I did it as well. I hopefully we won't get in trouble for this, but he journaled. He wrote about, like, he wrote a letter to his inner child, his younger self,
Oh my God.
um, basically like saying that, look, like, I'm sorry you had to go through this, and you're still loved, blah blah blah. I don't know exactly what he wrote, but it was a very cathartic experience for him, very healing. And after that, he went into the forest, and he had this incredible like nirvana experience, as he said, where like he felt oneness with the whole forest, and he could see the colors more vividly. He even had an interaction where there was an owl like 20 meters away from him, staring right into his eyes.
Oh my God.
And like really cool things, so he's very grateful he stayed. I'm very grateful I stayed. I know I wanted to leave at several points. But did you have any time during this 10-day period where you felt like, hey, fuck this, this is crazy, why am I doing this, I want to leave? Did you have any of those thoughts?
To be honest, first 7 to 8 days, I never thought of leaving because I was healing from the day. I don't know, like different people have different experiences, right? So for me, it was like never felt like leaving at any point from day one to day eight, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But at the point of day eight, I was like, okay, a lot of things that was, you know, deposited very deep in my mind came out. Like I felt like it all came to the surface, and I just eradicated it or somehow. And I was like, nothing is left in my mind. I was like so pure, and my mind was so, you know, everything is fleshed out. I got that feeling, and then I was sitting in the eighth day, and I was not, you know, I was not feeling much more benefits. Like on the eighth day, I was not
Mm-hmm.
getting much any more benefits. I was like feeling neutral.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, I thought of, you know, maybe I was thinking, yeah, I'm fresh now. I mean, for me, 8 days was enough, and I was like, should I leave or like? And I was like, I went to the assistant teacher Tom and asked the same thing. Like, yeah, I feel much better. I don't feel like staying here anymore. I feel really good. What should I do? I know the point that you said, you said some point you get really bored as fuck, right? So I got that feeling in the day eight when I was like, okay, I got everything what I wanted. So now I'm feeling like I'm just sitting there for no reason, right? So then the teacher told me, Joe, just hold on. There are still stuff inside you that would come up. Just wait, just keep on practicing, keep on practicing. Then I was like, ah, maybe I will, I have finished 8 days, maybe 2 more days, then I will just stick around, right?
Uh-huh.
Then, yeah, I managed to do that.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm glad you stayed. I'm glad you completed it, because 9 people actually end up quitting, right?
Hmm.
You probably heard about that. Um, Wondering for you, Joe, was there any major like turning point or breakthrough moment for you, or was that the turning point for you, the eighth day?
Um, I would say the main Vipassana technique in the fourth day, when they started teaching that, I was feeling amazing. I mean, I got amazed by that, like shifting our focus from the lower part of your upper part of your lips to whole body. That was something really transformative for me, and I was like feeling that vibration. I never got that vibration again. Like the first time when he taught us how to do that, I got a real vibration, right? Then
Where did you get it? Throughout your body, or
everywhere,
what?
everywhere.
So you had the flow thing going that he was talking about.
Yeah, he never even
What?
talked
Yeah.
about it, but I got it from the first time when he said it, right? I mean,
Amazing.
yeah,
Amazing.
I was like, okay, this is how it feels. And I was like feeling that wonderful, amazing vibration all throughout my body. And I was like, oh my God, this is some magic. And this is the main, selling point of this course. This is why I'm here. I was feeling, all the, I was feeling out of the world, man. Seriously.
Yeah. Wow. And so that happened on day 4. Did it happen at all again day 5 or beyond, or just on day 4 and that was it?
I mean, to that frequency, no, I would say, because the first time was the best, and obviously, they tell us, right, not to crave for that, right?
Yeah. You
And
lost your meditation virginity, Joe.
I mean,
You'll never forget the first.
absolutely, I felt like the same thing, man.
Your meditation cherry was popped.
Actually, that's what
You'll
I
ne-
was about to
Day
say. I
4.
lost my virginity there.
Bro, isn't it wild though? Because you know what Tom told me? Because
Mm.
I, I went to him and right, and I asked him. I said, what do you think about masturbation? He goes, it feeds fuel to the fire. Don't do it. And in fact, if you keep meditating, you're not going to need sex either. I'm like, what? But you know what? After I had that similar experience as you, maybe not the whole body like that, but like my torso, my lower body, and sometimes my whole body, but very like subtle. The ecstasy or the blissful feelings is like I could see why monks would be like, hey, I don't need to have sex anymore because man, you can feel some incredible sensations within the body that I never thought were possible, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think it made things more real, right? Like you hear about these stories, you hear about, oh, meditation is so amazing, it can do this, or do that, or as it said, right? Like the kingdom of heaven is within you. But until you experience it, it's like it's all just words, right? It's all intellectual.
That's right.
So Joe, how did you feel about the daily schedule, like the food and the noble silence? How did you feel about all those three things?
Yeah, I mean, that's something we need to discuss about, right? Because a lot of people is, not really um accustomed of not having a dinner, right? So
That's
for
right.
me, yeah, for me, I'm a person who used to do intermediate fasting, so just take 2 meals a day. So
Yeah.
first thing like 8 o'clock breakfast, then I take a 12 o'clock lunch, and then I just don't eat at all. Just walk around not eating at all. So I used to
Hmm.
do that. So
Okay.
I was so used to it, and then I came here, and it's the same thing, right? We had a 6:30 breakfast and 11 o'clock lunch, and that's it, right?
Yeah, and then maybe a tea break at like 5,
Yeah, but
5:30.
nothing to eat or anything, right? Just
Yeah.
some
You didn't
fruit.
have fruits? You had
Yeah, I
fruits,
had
but
fruit, but
it's not a meal, right? I get
not
it.
yeah. So for me, it was fine, just fine, and I could see some people are not happy with it, maybe because they are not like in the beginning. Then I guess they got used to it
Yeah.
easily, and yeah, for me it was a no-brainer.
So the food was okay, but what about the schedule? Waking up at 4 a.m. with the gong, gong. Dude, how did that feel to you?
First few days, I never woke up. I
I
mean,
know you didn't. I could hear you snoring.
I was like, uh, you open the door, and then the light comes directly to my face. Then I woke up, and then I feel like, okay, maybe I thought maybe you went to the washroom or something,
Yeah.
and and one day I almost skipped the breakfast. I was sleeping.
Yeah, I don't blame you, bro. I understand the feeling.
Yeah, I was like,
You have to wait out food or sleep, right? And then you
yeah,
realize there's only 2 meals, so you cannot skip breakfast.
that's right. So important. Your day will get, fucked up.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But I remember when the gong would go off, my God, I would just jump right out of bed and go run to the shower because one, I didn't want to like wait in line for a shower, and
Mhm.
also I'm used to showering in the evenings, but in the evenings it would be so busy. I would find that I didn't like the idea of like not knowing when my turn is, and it's just awkward, right? Like you come out of the shower and there's like 5 guys waiting to go into the shower. So I'm just like, okay, I'll do it first thing in the morning, and that seemed to work for me. But by like day 7 or 8, I found that I was waking up even before the gong. So at like
Mhm.
3:30, I'm wide awake and I'm just like, oh my God, any minute now, the gong is going to go off. Any minute now, the gong is going to go off. And I put the flashlight on to look at my little clock and be like, oh, it's still just 3:30. All right, another half an hour, another half an hour.
You had a clock with you? I never even had a clock with me. I was like, I don't even know what time it is. I don't even
Bro,
remember what
I,
day it is.
I, in that sense, I did some of my research. Me and my partner were just like, okay, what do I need to bring, and what are the biggest regrets people have? And people said, okay, bring a clock, bring mosquito repellent, bring this, bring that. So we just tried to pack as much of that as possible. And thankfully, she lent me her clock, and that helped me a lot, in a sense. But you didn't have any clock at all.
I mean, I guess it helped me, right? Because when you know the time, for me, in my mind, when you know the time, you will be like, okay, you are like waiting for something to happen, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't know the time, you're just listening to the gong, the sound.
Bro, I would
It's
be
like
so stressed out without a clock. I would be so stressed out because I'd be like, oh my God, did I just miss lunch? Oh my God, did I just miss breakfast? Oh my God, am I supposed to be in a meditation hall? The meditation police is gonna come knock on my door, and like those thoughts would go through my mind just because, like, I don't know, I overthink things sometimes, but you were totally chill about it. No clock, no phone, no journaling, no book, and you're just chilling there, right? And waiting
I
for the
was
gong every day.
absolutely looking back. I mean, I can't even believe that I did all these things, right? Because without clock, I was like, okay, you if I need to know the time, I just go out, walk, have a exercise, and get to the clock and see the time. That's what I did. I mean, yeah,
Bro,
I
if
can't.
that clock lost battery, you'd be fucked. But the gong is there, right? So,
Yeah.
you want to hear something embarrassing? I actually thought for like the first 8 days, I was convinced there's a guy or a girl walking around with a gong, a big ass gong on a wheels or something, right? And just maneuvering through the hallways and going gong,
I
gong,
did
gong.
I did the same thing, but I cannot blame you. And I found out there was a speaker and they have it recorded, and
Yeah, they're so modern about it, right? There's speakers throughout the halls, and they play it. I guess it's pre-recorded, and
mm,
it sounds so live. It's like you feel like they're just outside your room,
absolutely.
bro. And I think I have PTSD from that gong alone, because I'm like, I just hear the gong, like I would hear the gong before the gong goes off. I'm like, okay, I feel like the gong's gonna go off any second now, any minute now. And
Yeah,
sometimes it did. And just like, oh shit, okay, time to get up, time to get up. We became like cows, right? You hear the bell. Yeah, Maslow's reflex. You hear the bell and mouth starts watering. Oh, lunchtime, everyone line up like a robot. But
yeah.
yeah, it was interesting.
It's a different experience, right?
Yeah, how about the silence? Like, was that at all, like, how did you feel about the noble silence and not being able to talk to anybody or interact or gesture or touch? How did that go for you? And not being able to see any woman, by the way, for 10 days.
I was pretty happy for both of it.
Really?
Absolutely, because these are something that we don't experience on a day-to-day life, right? For example, silence. I'm a person who's really extrovert, so I go around and talk to people. People come and talk to me to have like a good time. So it's always I'm surrounded with noise.
Hmm.
I don't like to sit alone and like not communicate, like not talk at all. So for me, it was first of all challenging, but wanted to try it. That kind of
Hmm.
stuff.
Mm.
And the woman part, right? I mean, in the internet, if you open internet, it's all women and everything. Everywhere you look, it's women, right? So it's good to have 10 days without seeing any woman, right? It's a different feeling, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I should make the title of this 10-day woman fast.
that that could also work.
Bro, I had a window, right? And did you
Oh,
know that there was a trail in front of me, like where like the women have to walk by to get to the trail? So
oh
sometimes I just stand there and just look at the women like a creep, be
my
like,
God.
there's a woman. There's a woman. It was just like, imagine being locked away for 10 days and not being able to talk to anyone, not being able to see anyone, not hearing a woman's voice, not hearing we heard some men's voice, the teacher, and then Guanka G, but it was something else, bro. I've never experienced anything like quite like this in my life. How about you?
I mean, the thing that you said, I hope your partner is not hearing that, you know.
My partner's chill, man. She totally gets it.
All right.
By
Yeah.
the way, I'm a dancer. I don't know if you know that.
Oh,
So
really?
I go out dancing. I dance with different girls. She's chill. She's a very confident woman, and she knows that at the end of the day, I'm coming home to her. And for whatever reason, she's chill. And like, look, for me to look at a girl, it's not the end of the day. It doesn't mean that I'm cheating on her. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna go sleep with a girl or have an affair. It's just I'm a man. I love women, and it's just my nature, and I cannot deny that nature, So, not seeing a woman, not talking to a woman for 10 days, bro. Of course, I miss my partner every day, several times a day, and then just being able to look out a window, and it felt kind of naughty to see women. It felt naughty because it's not allowed. If
Yeah.
they said you're not allowed to look at a tree or hug a tree, I'd be like, oh man, that tree looks really cute. I want to go hug that tree just because it's not allowed. It's the rebel in me. Does that make sense, Joe?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it's not necessarily about the woman per se, but it is, but it's not. You know what I mean? It's like it's also the idea that you're not allowed, like it's forbidden. Like if you do this, you're gonna be in trouble. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So tell me, did you have any like vivid or strange dreams during the retreat? I know a lot of people did. I know I did. Did you have any of those?
I mean, dreams. I don't remember any dreams, but one thing I'm sure there was some good dreams and
Like passionate dreams, sensual dreams, dreams about women
happy
or tree,
dreams. I don't know if you can call it happy
right?
dreams. You know,
Like what? Like
like something good happened. You visited, like, gone back to your country and visited all the people that you met in your life, and we had a good
wow.
time. Something like that. It's like nostalgic, you could say.
Yeah.
And then it made me feel like, okay, I wanted to do it. I mean, right? So you have to go back and see your old people, old friends, meet with
Yeah.
everyone. It's like
Yeah.
you came to a country, and it's like you're missing a lot of things.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff hit me after.
How long ago did you like how long have you been in Toronto? And when was the last time that you visited India?
It's been almost 4 years.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a
Your
long
parents are
time. Like,
there, your friends are there, your relatives are there, right?
everyone is there. Everyone is there.
Wow.
Hmm.
And for these 4 years, you haven't gone back.
No, I was stuck a job, maybe I was stuck a studying, and I
Yeah.
was like, didn't get a chance to take a break. So,
So now that you've had this experience, like what changes do you think have come into you? What have you realized from these 10 days? What are some of the like aha moments? Like, oh my God, now I need to do this. I have clarity on X, or I feel motivated to do Y. What are some things that came up for you like that?
um, for me, I would say there was like a lot of tension, stress in my mind. I'm worrying about the future and stuff. So now, I look back, I'm not even worried about anything, and I just feel like nothing is bothering me anymore. I could take.
What?
Yeah, I mean, it just
That's
helped me.
awesome.
Like,
Yeah.
some people say you will get 10% benefit or 20% benefit. I was like, I don't know, I can't even count it. I mean, my whole perspective has changed about life.
And do people notice the change? Like, your colleagues or your friends say, "Hey, bro, Joe, you've changed," you know, any of that?
That's the thing. You cannot act like a completely different person because people will freak out, right? Thinking
But
like,
you
what
want to,
happened to you, right? What happened to you, bro? What happened to you?
right?
Oh, it's like I'm a little bit acting like normal, but inside me, I have changed a lot, to be really, really honest.
Like, for example, what's changed? What are you doing differently now that you weren't doing before the retreat?
Um, things like seeing the world differently. Like when something happens in front of you, you would, if something bad happens in front of you, you would think in the shoes of different people, right? Like for example, before that you were like pointing fingers at someone if something happened in front of you, but this time I am more compassionate about the person who did it and also the person who received it, both of them, right? So it's like the whole perspective has changed. Everything happened because of something, right? So
Yes.
you get to see the different angles. my
Yeah.
my my mind has widened. I can see more angles now.
So cool,
So
bro. And
yeah.
are you maintaining it like a daily meditation practice? And if so, how are you doing it?
To be honest, first 2 days I did, and then I never got a chance, or I never really did it. But when I get a break for 1 hour at work. So half an hour I finish my break, and then I come to my car. It's a good weather nowadays, so I sit inside the car without my phone or anything, just close my eyes and do the meditation. And that's
Nice.
more than good enough for me, I feel.
And do you hear Guanka G's voice saying, "Start again, start again"? Dude, that haunted me, because it was just like, just as you finish, and it was like, oh, you gotta come back again, start again. I'm like, damn, I've been sitting for hours, like, it, when's this day gonna end?
Do you know what? So the audio like we listened to throughout
Oh,
the 10 days, we got better audios than that on YouTube. So just
what? For
really,
Guanka G? It's better?
yeah, yeah.
I gotta check
I
it out.
mean,
Share it
maybe,
on the group.
yeah, of course. Maybe they recorded on 1990s or something like that. And
Uh-huh.
I think we can get very recent ones,
Uh-huh.
like 2000, 2000, late 2000, something like that. So
Nice.
it's much more refined, I would say. So it's much more pleasant to put your AirPods on and do the meditation, I would say. You just try it out.
Really? Oh man.
Absolutely.
I'm glad to hear that, because I was
Yeah.
like, during the 10 days, I was like, oh my God, what if we don't have access to this? Because when he guides you, it's so good, because at
Yeah.
least, you can focus on his voice, you can focus on his, suggestions, but uh, it's good to know that there's stuff out there. You saw that I shared also the Dhamma recipes, right? The recipes of the food that we ate.
Yeah, I saw that.
Were you craving any of that or not really after the retreat? Be honest.
Uh, After the retreat, I was really confused of what to eat. That's the biggest confusion ever.
Really? Because you
Yeah.
used to eat very differently before?
Yeah, I just used to eat very, very less veggies and a lot of meat and eggs and stuff like that.
What?
Then it's like it became upside down, and coming to the
Yeah.
retreat, I was like eating all the things, all the vegetables and everything, and I was enjoying it. Then I realized after coming back, I went to the gym and I was like feeling not very strong. I lost a lot of weight, I would say, and I was feeling the need of eating the meat, and I realized
Hmm.
I cannot do the vegetarian stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
And slowly went back to my old routine.
Yeah. But well, now at least you have a choice, right? And how it feels when you're eating clean, as they say, or you're eating, food that won't feel heavy. Especially if you're looking to meditate, especially if you're looking to feel good. I feel like we've all had an experience that I think rarely anybody offers or goes about doing in their life. The 10-day silence is one thing. Eating clean, vegetarian twice a day is an entirely other thing that they did for us. And then all the experiences that came out of it, and the connections and the realizations. So there's so many different facets and benefits that came out of this, that if we were to apply it, I think it can benefit us, and definitely the people that we come into contact with. And this is what this podcast has been about, is just to share our experience, and to talk to you, my roommate, and my first Vipassana guest since the retreat. So Super grateful for you for joining me today and raising your hand and being like, hey, let's do this. Is there any last words that you want to share before we jump off?
Um, the thing is that, like, a lot of people asked about me, right? I disappeared for 10 days, right? I just
You got
gave,
abducted by the meditation aliens.
yeah,
Vipassana UFO came and just took you up and gave you all the rules, all the silas.
yeah. So I was like, a lot of people are interested after, after you get out of that and, like, came to the outside world and asking, um, you said went to a meditation retreat, and people are interested to know what it is, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I had a hard time explaining it, to be really, really honest, because it's your own experience, right? So you can't just say, "Oh yeah, my mind is purified." And it's like they're like, how your mind is purified? You
I
look like the
washed
same
my
person.
mind with bleach.
Yeah, I mean,
You look like what? You were gonna say? What did they say? You look like what?
you look like the same. But what do you mean you became a change?
Nothing
And
changed. Get your money
yeah,
back. You
yeah,
wasted your
yeah,
time and your money.
yeah. I mean, for me, I would say it just came to my mind at some point in my life that I need to do something like that, right? So it's not like, okay, you see a chill person and you go and tell, oh, why don't you try Vipassana, right? You cannot do that, right? It have to come from your own mind, right? You need to do this, right? You need to do
Hmm.
something about it, right? So at that point, if you see someone at that point, just you can suggest them to do this,
Right.
right? If you see a really suffering person in front of you, right?
Right.
And it helped you and it will help them also, right? Then
Yes.
you can easily suggest them to do this and try it
Right.
out, just
Right.
10 days of your life.
I suggest it to everybody, bro. Like anybody who asks me about it and I have the moment to tell them about it. And you're right, it's not easy to describe because it's a very personal experience.
Yeah.
And it wasn't all like bed of roses. So you have to be honest about the fact that it's super challenging at times. At least for me, it was. Um, but that's like usually what I do is I just forward them the video. I don't know if you saw the video I made. Like I debriefed after Vipassana, and I'm just like, okay, this was my experience. And then I did
Mhm.
another one just about the FAQs, the frequently asked questions about Vipassana. And essentially, I was just reading the pamphlet of Vipassana with their questions and their answers, and I thought that was very helpful.
Mhm.
And I think if you share a video like that, it makes it easy for people to kind of understand what it is and what
Mhm.
it's not. Because I think a lot of people have preconceived notions, right? They might think it's something religious. They may think it's a
Mhm.
cult. They may think like, I don't know what they think, So it's good to have something that's a little bit more universal because I think people have questions and that's normal. But I know that I don't have all the answers, so I look to what type of materials already out there, and look to help share through those in my own voice what Vipassana is about and what you can expect, and tips because the tips of other students help me a lot. So I'm sure our tips will help other people that are thinking about this or looking into it. Um, for those of you that are watching that don't know, there's over 200 Vipassana centers around the world, and all of them are amazing, but some are stricter than others. Uh, I was told that the one that we attended is not strict at all because there was a volunteer there that was from Cambodia, and he was saying that in Cambodia, the hours that you can choose to be in your room versus the hall, you don't have that choice. You have to be meditating in the hall with everybody else, and the people there are super strict. And he says like, what you guys are experiencing here is nothing. It's like child's play. And I was just like, okay, thank God that I didn't go to Cambodia for this. So people have had different experiences in different centers. And even a teacher, I asked him, I said, Tom, like, what has been your favorite center? Which ones have been your favorite? And he said, there, I like all of them, but he goes, some have your own personal shower, and some are nicer than others, but they're all great, more or less. So I'm kind of excited. Like, I don't know about you. Like, what are you thinking in the future? Do you plan to do this again? Are there any people in your mind that you're highly recommending this to that you wish would do this? What are your thoughts on that?
I would highly suggest people who are married or having a partner to go together, because it helps. Because talking to some of the couples who came there, so I understand they had problems going on, and this kind of meditation at the end of the day, you will feel much fresher, and this would really help their house to be much more peaceful.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's a double benefit, right? So if you have your family like with you, and they also practice this, and all throughout the house it will be much more peaceful environment, right? The kind, peaceful, blissful, I would say, right?
Yes, yes, a Dhamma partnership, as Guanka G would say. Well,
Yeah.
that's why I want my partner to do it too. Just I feel one that it will help her, it will give her an experience that will have its own benefits for her, but also for us. Living together and potentially maybe it's a fantasy in my mind that we're meditating together and we're raising a house, having a household and maybe a family one day that also meditates. um, would be a beautiful thing. And I love Vipassana. I love the center. I love the way that they work. I love that it's donation based. I love that it's all vegetarian. I love that they build an environment for us that's conducive for us to get the maximum benefit out of it. And it's so comfortable. It's not super luxurious, but it's very comfortable. It's like at no point did I feel like I was in danger of my safety or security. Yes, I was nervous about the meditation police catching me doing something I'm not supposed to,
Yeah.
like staring at the ladies outside the window, but uh,
He
like a
catched me
like a
out, like,
weirdo,
yeah, he
or
definitely
journaling or
catched.
reading a book, or I don't know.
Yeah.
But you know, all in all, I think it was an incredible experience. I highly recommend it to everybody to really look into it and see for yourself. If this is something you want to do or experience. My regret is that I didn't do it earlier. I saw some of the guys there that were like 18, 19, 21. I'm just like, damn, like good for them. Like I was so happy for them because it can change the trajectory of your life. And imagine the impact that you're going to have on it's going to have on your life and the people that you come into contact with from then on. And for me, it's just like, I'm still really grateful that I did it. And it was not easy, but I'm grateful that I did it. And Joe, thank you so much for joining me here. Thank you.
It's a
This has
great
been awesome.
pleasure. It's a great pleasure. It's a great honor to be here, and self-reflect. Stuff happened 1 week ago, right? Never experienced, never shared this experience with anyone like this deeply. So it was a
Yeah, now the world is going to know your experience.
absolute.
And it's your first podcast, so congratulations. So many new beginnings, right?
Thank you so much.
The meditation and this. Yeah, you're welcome. And I appreciate you. I thank you. Silence teaches in many ways that words can't. But today, I'm so glad that we got to break the silence and share the story with all of you that are watching. So, once again, Joe, thank you. And thank you to the people watching. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and share this podcast. If you think it will benefit somebody, please share it with them and leave a comment. Let us know what you want to hear about. Let us know your questions. And maybe I'll have Joe back on again and we'll go around too and discuss some more things that are of interest to you guys. So thank you all, and bye for now.
Bye.